Welcome. Thank you for attending today's session by Pitsco Education. If you're a middle grade CTE teacher or a CTE director and you're looking for an innovative approach to bringing engaging hands-on career exploration to your middle grades TED, careers or business ed programs, you're in the right place. You'll learn about our hands-on career-focused classroom solutions for 6th to 9th grade using Pitsco Education programming. And I'm Mary Metters. I'm your North Carolina-based Pitsco Education representative. I've been with Pitsco for 22 years now, always here in North Carolina and always in the CTE and STEM space. So this is my area of expertise. I know many of you personally, which is really cool, and I'm blessed to count even more as friends. If you're not familiar with Pitsco Education yet, here's a quick overview. So the company was founded in 1971 by 3 teachers who couldn't source the CTE supplies they needed for their classes and were having a tough time finding the kind of customer service they deserved, right? So a result of that joint venture with those 3 teachers is our big book catalog of hands-on materials and equipment and supplies for the CTE and STEM education space and our world-class customer service. To this day, we've served more than 160 million students, and that's only since we really started keeping track and official records beginning in 1992, so it's likely much more than that even. In 1989, we revolutionized the voc-ed, vocational education space, with synergistic systems, and this ushered in a new era of tech ed with the first and original module learning approach. And just so you know, everything else is just a copy of our original innovation. In North Carolina, we still have districts with middle grade CTE programs with roots in synergistic systems, which is really amazing. And today we'll be learning about Expeditions, which is the 4th generation offspring, you could say, of our original synergistic systems program. 1997 brought a really exciting step for Pitsco Education when we joined forces with Lego Education, expanding our both organizations' reach to serve the CTE and STEM teachers with even more hands-on solutions. And just as a side note, I came on board with Pitsco in 1999, and I was in a blended role as both a Lego Education and Pitsco Education representative, which was really fun. Tetrix Robotics, which is the preferred robotics building system for competitions like First Tech Challenge and Skills USA's Urban Search and Rescue, USAR, was introduced in 2008. And at the beginning of 2018, just recently, Pitsco Education partnered with really innovative ed tech companies helping us expand our coding and robotics options for K-12 teachers around the world. And so if you've done your math already, you've figured out that 1971 to 2021 is a really big anniversary for Pitsco, marking 50 years of dedicated service to our CTE and STEM educators. And we're looking forward to many more years of commitment to our teachers, administrators, and students. Now, has anyone ever asked you what your why is? Why is it that you do what you do every day? If you're a CTE teacher, a CDC, an IMC, a CTE director, where does the passion come from and what drives your desire to always do what's right for your students? Pitsco's why is easy to answer, and it's all about the hands-on, minds-on approach that we know works. So our founder, Dr. Harvey Dean, was that kid in school. You all know him. He needed hands-on opportunities to stay engaged, and he was blessed to have an understanding and compassionate voc-ed teacher who recognized this about him right away. Thanks to that inspiration, Harvey went on to become a CTE teacher himself, and as they say, the rest is history. Hands-on education has been and always will be our focus. And then it's about employability skills, because CTE and STEM in school looks like the world of work to us. It requires the soft skills employers are asking for. We'll learn more about this in a few minutes when we take a deeper dive into Expeditions. And it's also because CTE and STEM education creates space for all students, any age, and of any ability. So in the end, I would bet your why sounds a lot like ours, and it's all about student success. And then we keep hearing about the skills gap, right? The skills employers say they need versus what students bring to the table. So on this slide, we learned that 82% of employers report that young people don't possess the skills they need to be successful in their jobs. And the results of this recent survey tell the rest of the story. Problem-solving skills, the ability to work in a team, strong work ethic, etc. All attributes we help students attain with our hands-on, career-focused solutions. I'm preaching to the choir, I know. So why Pitsco's emphasis on CTE and STEM career-focused learning opportunities? Because, as this slide demonstrates, we know that CTE concentrators are working full-time at higher rates 8 years after high school graduation compared to non-completers. That kind of data just doesn't lie. It's a fact. What's the bottom line then? Experiential, hands-on, career-focused learning opportunities are more valuable than traditional learning opportunities. And as a result, the next generation workforce will include problem solvers who think critically and creatively and possess the employability and leadership qualities required to close the current skills gap. Your 2030 graduates are rising fourth graders this year. Pitsco Education's hands-on, career-focused expeditions offer a perfect transition at the middle grades to prepare your students for success and build excitement around their high school CTE pathway options. Now's the perfect time to begin planning. So let's go ahead and we'll dive into Pitsco Education's STEM and Career Expeditions. We'll start with an overview video, and then we'll chat about the shared features of both the programs, and finally we'll explore what makes STEM and Career Expeditions unique from each other, and we'll take a deeper dive into what an implementation actually looks like.
By 2025, nearly 2 million manufacturing jobs are expected to go unfilled due to a skills gap. 82% of executives believe that skills gaps in key areas of technology, problem solving, and math will impact their ability to meet customer demands. 50% of HR professionals say that in the last 2 years, the skills shortage has worsened. We could go on. Bottom line, students today will be responsible for solving the challenges heading our way in areas such as healthcare, energy consumption, environmental protection, and cybersecurity. STEM and CTE education provide opportunities for students to gain transferable skills that connect academics to careers and post-secondary pathways. Teaching integrated STEM at the middle level is an ideal solution for closing the growing skills gap that exists in the workforce. In Pitsco's cloud-based STEM and Career Expeditions, STEM is truly integrated. In STEM Expeditions, students investigate solutions to real-world problems through the engineering design process. Ask, imagine, plan, create, and improve. In Career Expeditions, students explore a specific national career cluster, exposing them to a variety of pathway-aligned careers. Incorporation of microbursts employability soft skills into the program design rounds out the student experience by teaching and cultivating critical soft skills such as conflict resolution, communication, adaptability, and more. True to Pitsco's dedication to hands-on learning, both STEM and Career Expeditions contain engaging real-world activities to engage students and hone their self-management, resource management, and organizational skills. Students learn by doing. Not only do they learn how things work, but they also investigate solutions for improvement. The open-ended nature of expeditions enables students to work at their own pace within their team. And as students complete activities within Career Connections, they build their workplace skills. Skills such as information use, technology use, and communication, just to name a few. Implementation is flexible, blending teacher-led instruction with collaborative, student-directed activities. Instructors are able to customize learning in a variety of ways through an intuitive, cloud-based learning content management system called Synergy. Through a series of destinations within an expedition, students create their own ways of thinking and solving problems through realistic exploration and model eliciting activities that help them learn more deeply, retain concepts learned, and transfer learning to other contexts.
Whenever you think of science or technology, you think it's hard, but once you learn basics of it, it's very easy to advance on and do better things.
I learned how to use an altitude scope and how to do the math for like figuring all the rockets, like flight time and everything.
Performance-based assessments are built in through a logbook in which students acquire data and document progress through the expedition. Students collaborate, write, and justify their answers to an essential question after completing a series of tasks within destinations.
It's neat to see kids understand robots, and they're not just a magical being. When I used to give an assignment to my students, and I'd say, you know, we're going to invent something today, and I would have several of my students that the thing they would invent on paper would be a robot that could do something for them, and I would ask them, how does it work? You know, how does it go get your Coke out of the refrigerator? Or how does it fix your breakfast? And they'd say, well, it does. You know, they didn't really grasp it. But once those kids start learning that each one of those servos serves a purpose, whether it's just to move the hand in this direction or whatever it's moving, you see the light bulbs start coming on, and that's really neat to me. It kind of hits home for me.
Hands-on learning has been the bedrock of Pitsco Education since 1971, and hands-on experiences are woven throughout all STEM expeditions. Contact your Pitsco Education consultant today to integrate STEM and career expeditions into your classroom.
Okay, well, welcome back. Good information in the expeditions overview video. Yes, yeah, it's good info. So still some more kind of high-level topics to cover here, and these are specific to both STEM and career expeditions. And I apologize ahead of time. This will be the longest slide of the presentation, I promise. Lots of good info, so let's just go ahead and dive in. So in a nutshell, expeditions are described as project-focused, student-directed, STEM integrated, and career-focused programs for 6th through 9th grade. The content is delivered in a cloud-based multimedia environment and is accompanied by corresponding hands-on projects and student collaboration. Students work together to seek an essential question through hands-on discovery and experimentation, all via a career lens. They track their work in logbooks, and teachers have customizable assessment options for measuring student progress and comprehension. Phew, I know that was a lot. That's a mouthful. STEM expeditions are delivered using the same technology and instructional methodology as career expeditions, and each can create a standalone solution or be implemented together. All expeditions include career connections to explore and investigate. So then, specific to STEM expeditions, there are 30+ curriculum titles that provide comprehensive hands-on instruction. The blending of teacher-led instruction with collaborative, student-directed activities allows flexibility and a variety of options for implementation. Now, career expeditions include 8 titles that explore specific career clusters by completing a variety of hands-on tasks related to careers within the pathway. Students learn valuable employability skills such as self-efficacy, self-regulation, assertiveness, and creative problem solving. Hey, guess what? You're more than halfway through the presentation. Thank you for hanging in there. I know it's been a lot of information. There's a little bit more to come. In fact, we're going to go ahead and dive in now regarding the expedition essential questions and logbooks. And these are 2 really important features of expeditions, and they're worth calling out and talking about in a little bit more detail. So here we go. So each STEM and career expedition begins with an essential question, and this is a broad, open-ended challenge that requires higher order thinking and inspires curiosity and inquiry from the student. And by the end of the expedition, students not only can answer the essential question, they can justify their thinking and back it up with data they collected from the hands-on projects in their expedition. The expedition logbook is also an important tool, and it serves as a proof of learning for the teacher and provides a detailed account of every planned and executed activity. STEM expedition logbooks teach the importance of documentation and protection of ideas and research in the engineering and science fields. It's a really great real-life experience for the students. Students record and analyze data, they graph information, they improve their designs, they draw conclusions, and justify conclusions as they work through the expedition. With career expeditions, the logbooks provide authentic assessment and proof of learning, as well as documentation of career exploration and planning. This slide is just a nice graphical representation of especially the expeditions logbooks. You can see a copy of that here right in the center. So just to note, we offer both a paper-based logbook, which is shown, but there is also an option for a digital logbook as well. So logbooks serve, as I mentioned, as the primary proof of learning, and they provide the detailed account of every activity that the students do throughout the expedition experience. So formative and authentic assessments are provided throughout the logbook, and all expeditions include career connections to explore as well, and each expedition has unique career connections, and we always show those on the back of every logbook. And so keeping on the career connections theme, career connections are a foundational component of all expeditions. These resources and activities further develop a student's understanding and appreciation of the expedition content and help connect the dots to real-world career opportunities related to each expedition experience. And not that you need the reminder, but today's students are tomorrow's workforce, yes? So we teamed with ACT Work Keys to profile STEM and career expeditions and show how the program develops the skills, readies students for the workforce training, and prepares them for the ACT Work Keys assessments. Expedition lessons, logbooks, and learning resources were evaluated to identify the Work Keys skills required to accomplish the learning objectives and identify how the skills are used during the expeditions. And built into every STEM and career expedition is a soft skills training program for teaching and cultivating essential soft skills. Combined with expeditions, middle grade students learn the soft skills and then have the opportunity to practice them in the STEM or career-focused classroom. Highly engaging online lessons are paired with hands-on classroom activities, enhancing the already collaborative expeditions environment. Pre- and post-assessments are available, and students can even become certified in the program. Let's go ahead and jump into the nuts and bolts of expedition implementation options and technical details, kind of all the information that everybody wants to know, right? So in North Carolina, I've helped districts looking to align to our middle grades TED blueprints, that's very common, or to support and build excitement for high school CTE pathways while students are at the middle grades. Some districts are wanting to integrate more hands-on STEM activity into their business ed or STEM-focused programs. So for any of these above, our STEM expeditions and career expeditions are really a perfect fit. And there's recently been quite a bit of buzz about our Exploring Trades middle grades courses. Again, a great fit for expeditions. So expeditions, in terms of implementation design, are available as either a whole class delivery approach or rotational. And without a doubt, the most common approach here in North Carolina has been with whole class expeditions. This design allows for grade level differentiation of content, so we can have a set of 6th grade expeditions that are different from the 7th grade expeditions that are unique from the 8th grade expeditions. So if you have students that are visiting your CTE class 6th through 8th grade, every year they can have a different experience, which is exactly as designed. The rotational design of expeditions doesn't allow for this kind of flexibility, so just a caveat there. So then there's also significant flexibility in the purchase of a program. The program can grow as budget allows, from one expedition title at a time as part of a phased implementation approach, or as a complete program makeover all at once. It just really depends on what the budget options are. So the technical details are actually really easy. Expeditions are cloud-based multimedia content, and they're delivered to Chromebooks, iPads, PCs, or Mac laptops. We really recommend devices that allow students to be mobile through the classroom, so we encourage collaboration in the classroom. We don't necessarily want the students sitting with just their partner. We'd like to see them up and around and working with other groups of students. So having that mobile device is important. And as a side note, we're currently developing to deliver an LMS that will be compatible with Canvas and Google Classroom and others by spring of 2022. So the classroom deployment is flexible, even to accommodate just one or several expeditions to supplement an existing course, or robust enough to create an entire program. Okay, up to this point, we've talked about expeditions collectively, so common features of both STEM expeditions and career expeditions, right? Now we will dive into expedition specifics. So just hang on and let's talk about some of these details. So if I was to have an elevator speech about STEM expeditions, it would sound like this. STEM expeditions promote science inquiry, math practices, and engineering design principles by incorporating STEM concepts into relevant real-world activities through an exploratory career lens. Applying the engineering design process develops a growth-oriented and resilient mindset that will serve students well for a lifetime, no matter their path. So it kind of sounds like that. So with over 30 expedition titles that align to hundreds of career connections, there's a tremendous amount of flexibility in how expeditions, STEM expeditions, can be implemented in the classroom. And it's really common for me to be asked to align to our middle grades TED blueprints, for example, or our new middle grades exploring trades courses, as another example. There are districts that have very specific needs to address the wishes of local business and industry partners. And we have so many expedition titles that without a question, we can address those needs. It just works really well. So just know that there's a lot of flexibility with the program in that respect. At the very core of STEM expeditions is the application of the engineering design process. And to just reiterate again, this is one of the primary differentiators between STEM expeditions and career expeditions. So this is a very much a project-based approach for the students. It enables them to own their own learning, practice collaboration and creative problem solving, and test ideas. It is absolutely foundational to a STEM expedition experience. Now, it's also worth noting that this provides the opportunity for students to practice the 4 C's. And as many times as I talk about the 4 C's, for some reason I can only remember 3 of them. So I'm actually going to look at my notes just real quick. So the 4 C's include critical thinking, I think that's one I always forget. Creativity, collaboration, and communication. So we had actually, way back at the beginning of the presentation, we had seen a slide that discussed the areas, the attributes that employers were looking for in newly graduated students and were having a difficult time finding. So these were the skills that the students were not bringing to the workplace, right? So there were several at the very top, and there were some down below that in that slide I didn't have an opportunity to mention, but it's perfect timing now. And by just the sheer collaborative nature of the expedition experience for the students and the fact that they have to work through this rigorous engineering design process application to be able to work through the project-based learning approach of the expeditions, the students naturally have the opportunity then to practice some of the other skills that those employers had referenced. And again, I'm just going to look at my notes real quick. So communication skills was actually, I think, number 5 or number 6 on that list of attributes that employers were looking for in their employees. Others were leadership skills. The ability to take initiative. I would imagine that would be especially the case in a project environment, work environment. Students and new employees needing to be detailed oriented in their work effort. So when you think about the skills that employers are looking for and the opportunity that the students have to practice these skills through an expedition experience with a partner or with other groups of students as they apply the engineering design process to solve a real-world problem, you can really appreciate what that application and what that process looks like and what that end result then is for the student. Now, this is a snapshot from our Expeditions curriculum guide, and I'll explain what that is here in just a moment. But real quickly, this is a great way to illustrate that our STEM expeditions are aligned or support 14 of the 16 national career clusters. So this matrix, which we have for every one of our expeditions, is a great way to quickly reference what expeditions fall within which career clusters, where that alignment is. And again, for programs that are looking for kind of that career-focused solution or as a way to build a bridge to their high school pathways at the middle grades level, this is just a great reference page from the curriculum guide. So the Expeditions curriculum guide is a large document that is available either paper-based, it's a spiral-bound book, or I can provide a digital link to it for downloading. But it is all the programmatic information about expeditions, a overview of every STEM and career expedition. It includes the essential questions for each expedition. It includes the career pathways and career title alignments for every expedition, and a general overview of every title as well. So if this is something that you'd like a copy of, I'd be happy to get this out to you. My contact information is at the beginning and end of each of, how do I say that? It's at the beginning slide and the ending slide of this presentation. So you'll have my email address and phone number. So just get in contact. I'd be happy to send you a copy to reference. And it's a great planning tool. That's really what it's designed for. So anyway, just happy to send that to you if that's something that you would like. Let's go ahead and transition to career expeditions. So we just finished talking about STEM expeditions, and these are career expeditions. So the big point to make right out of the gate is that experientially for the student, the technology and the instructional method all provide the same benefits as STEM expeditions. So in other words, the look and the feel and the general experience of a STEM expedition and a career expedition are the same. The big difference is that career expeditions do not use that applied engineering design process approach They are Career Expeditions are looking more to focus very specifically on a career pathway and the opportunities within that pathway. A lot of flexibility in terms of the way the program can be implemented and customized. So we'll talk about that here in a second. But when we developed Career Expeditions, there was a significant focus on that alignment to the ACTE work keys and the career practices that are outlined in the Common Career Technical Core documentation. So we use those both as guiding principles in the development of Career Expeditions. The primary outcome is the overall increase in awareness of specific career pathways and those connected career opportunities within those pathways. So one of the best ways to consider, in my opinion, and how I've seen this done in districts around the state, one of the best ways to consider an implementation of this is if you have a specific pathway, let's say at the high school, for example, for which you would like to build awareness or excitement about at the middle school. And with the 8 Career Expedition titles that meet 8 of the unique 16 career clusters, then you have an opportunity to create career focused or career cluster or career pathway focused explorations at the middle grades. So you can begin, for example, the students can begin with a Career Expedition title that kind of sets the tone for that pathway, and then there are STEM expeditions that can underpin that experience then for the class. So that's just one way. It's a neat way to really present a focused approach to a pathway. So if that slide, that last slide, seemed a little clunky to you, which it did to me when I went back and reviewed it, this might be a little bit more clarifying. So Career Expeditions align and support national career clusters. I think we got that handled, right? That's of understanding. Those specific career clusters that are supported is the Ag, Food, and Natural Resources, Architecture and Construction, Arts, AV and Communications, Health Science, Manufacturing, STEM, Transportation, Distribution, and Logistics. So there's one other expedition also that's called Now Hiring, where students complete skills evaluations and interest inventories to identify their career interests that might be suited to their particular abilities. They develop a 4-year education plan for high school that's related to the career pathway choices. So this Career Expedition, Now Hiring, is perfectly slotted at the 8th grade, in my opinion. That's what we're finding in most cases, as students evaluate their high school CTE pathway options. So hopefully that summarizes that prior slide a little bit better, is a bit more clear for you. I can't help but brag about this innovative learning environment. This is called Innovation Workstation. I was on the design team for this, and I have to tell you, it really is as good and as functional as it looks. So as I mentioned, it's designed specifically for expeditions. It combines counter height seating with abundant storage. This is seating for 4 students, by the way. The tabletop is large enough for collaboration and group projects, and the whiteboard is really handy and encourages creativity. We've even done some custom door designs for districts. So if you can imagine your school logo or your CTE program name on the doors, it's just a great way to kind of market and differentiate your program as unique as it is. As we wrap up this session, let's just take a few minutes to chat about some of Pitsco's suite of professional services and what that means for you. In short, supporting students and educators is at the very heart, the center of what we do. For 50 years now, we've worked hard to create a service network that offers customers professional, personal support. Whether it be through our internal service department, our field service representation, or one of our education consultants like myself who represent us around the country, we hope to get to know you better and meet your needs. With Expeditions, often the very first question relates to professional development. What does it look like? What are the options? Our PD is delivered by a Pitsco trainer and designed directly with the implementing school or district. And though the pandemic has ushered in this new era of virtual PD, right? We have done that. We have facilitated remotely, but still live to lend that personal touch. And it's probably an option we'll continue to offer in the future. But we will always, always be advocates for an in-person professional development seminar. From improved learning outcomes for the teachers and the personal interaction and relationship building that occurs between your staff and our educational services team, we know there's just no substitute for being face-to-face with our customers. And Expeditions support begins with me. It continues through the setup of the program. It extends to the professional development at the time of implementation and beyond. We like to say, once a customer, always a customer. We offer lifetime customer service free of charge via toll-free phone service, email, and online services. And just as a side note, I would bet here in North Carolina, if you asked any of my teachers, my CTE directors, their support staff, why Pitsco, the answer would always be their customer service is absolutely superior, and I agree. Okay, last slide. Thank you so much for sticking with me. We just have a little bit of some breaking news here at Pitsco and a couple of real quick updates that I'd like to share. So right off the bat, I'd like to send a huge, big shout out to the Hoke County High School Skills USA Commercial SUAS drone demonstration team for very recently taking first place in the national competition. And guys, that is a huge honor. Great job to the team, to the advisor, everybody out there that supported the team. We appreciate your efforts. So kind of on that same theme, as a side note, Pitsco Education is a proud sponsor and partner in the development of the Skills USA drone demonstration competition. And I'd like to encourage all high school CTE teachers and their directors to consider participating in this event in 2022. If you have any questions about it, I'd be happy to help. This event or Urban Search and Rescue, USAR, both of which are Pitsco sponsored events, just give me a call. I'd be happy to walk you through the details and help support your team's efforts this next year. And if you didn't already know, weren't already aware, I am your all things Pitsco, kind of in finger quotes there, representative in North Carolina now, as of January 1st of this year. So from our hands-on elementary and middle grade STEM, CTE, and drone curriculum and activities to our supplemental options for robotics and coding and STEM, I'd be just tickled, I'd be delighted to help craft the perfect solution for any budget. And finally, maybe just something to keep on your radar as the details come together and are formalized, but there should be availability of ESSER 3 funds with a particular focus on assisting students who are at risk of academic failure. We should see those funds released sometime this summer or fall. So Pitsco STEM and career-focused solutions can really make a positive impact on this particular group of students. So I'd just advise that you give me a call and we can chat about what our solutions can do for your students. Thank you for attending today's Pitsco Education session about Pitsco's STEM and Career Expeditions. If you've made it this far, congratulations. I know I've offered a lot of information in a relatively short amount of time, but I appreciate that you have spent that time with me, and I hope you have found it to be time well spent. I'm based in Davidson County, Lexington specifically, and travel from Murphy to Manteo, as they say. Please don't hesitate to call or write. My contact information is on the first and last slides. I'd be delighted to chat with you, happy to meet in person, and my goal is always likely the answer to your why, and that is student success. Have a great day.